Why did the Sydney Opera House put its designer at odds with Australia? In the distant southern hemisphere, there is a bustling city called Sydney. Known for its beautiful environment and developed economy, the city is further distinguished by a unique architectural landmark, the Sydney Opera House. Many people are familiar with the origin of the Sydney Opera House. It was designed by Danish architect J.R.N. Utzon, who was inspired by a half-peeled orange. The project began with an international competition, attracting 230 designs from architects across 30 countries. Utzon was eager to see his masterpiece rise in the heart of this international metropolis. After much thought and sleepless nights, one morning, while peeling an orange, the vision of the opera house's shape struck him like lightning. He leaped up, exclaiming, "This is how the opera house should be designed." However, implementing the project encountered a series of obstacles, leading to Utzon's deep-seated animosity with Australia. Initially, Utzon's design was rejected in the preliminary round. It was only after American architect Eero Saarinen, one of the judges, saw Utzon's design and exclaimed, "Isn't this like a series of overlapping shells? It's both creative and fitting for a seaside city like Sydney," that Utzon's design was accepted. Upon hearing the news, Utzon felt his career had reached new heights. He moved his entire family to Sydney, declaring his love for the city and vowing to complete the opera house. Initially, the Utzon family received a warm welcome, which deeply moved Utzon and led him to set high standards for the construction. A few years later, however, the budget was nearly exhausted, and the opera house was still just a platform above the water. Sydney residents grew impatient and began questioning Utzon's design. Even the government started tightening expenditures, stalling further progress. Utzon's treatment was now worlds apart from the initial welcome. He was even left unpaid, causing significant hardship for his family. Angered by the situation, Utzon decided to provoke the government by submitting his resignation, expecting them to sincerely ask him to stay. To his shock, within an hour of sending the letter, he received a cold response accepting his resignation. Devastated, Utzon returned to Europe with his family, vowing never to set foot on Australian soil again. Without Utzon, the Sydney government hired Australian architects to complete the opera house, following Utzon's original vision. However, when the opera house was completed in 1973, Utzon's name was conspicuously absent, as if he had no connection to the project he had poured 9 years of his life into. It wasn't until 1999 that the Sydney government reconciled with Utzon. Despite the opera house's magnificent exterior, its internal structure was subpar, likely due to the succeeding architect's lack of understanding of Utzon's overall design. Utzon designed a colonnade for the opera house but still refused to return to Australia, not even at the behest of the Queen of England, who intended to honor his contributions. J.R.N. Utzon passed away from a heart attack in 2008, at the age of 90. Until his death, he never returned to Australia nor saw the Sydney Opera House, the greatest artistic work of his life, in person.